بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على عبد الله ورسوله نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. In this short video, we're going to go over a hadith narrated by Al-Imam Al-Bukhari and Al-Imam Muslim from that noble companion Abu Hurayrah radiyallahu anhu, from the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, that he said, قال الله عز وجل, that Allah mighty and majestic said. And that tells us that this hadith is a hadith qudusi. It's something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke and the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam narrated it to us. That Allah azza wa jal said, كل عمل ابن آدم له إلا الصيام فإنه لي وأنا أجزي به. This is the first sentence in the hadith. All of the actions of the children of Adam belong to them except for fasting, and fasting is for me, and I reward it. Now, we need to stop here and think, because actually all of our actions are for Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, قُلْ إِنَّ صَلَاتِي وَنُسُكِي وَمَحْيَايَ وَمَمَاتِي لِلَّهِ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. Say indeed, my prayer and my sacrifice and my living and my dying are for Allah, Lord of the worlds. No partner has He. And if that's the case, then why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala single out fasting as being for Him? The scholars have a lot of different opinions about this. Al-Hafidh ibn Hajar rahimahullah ta'ala mentioned somewhere in the region of 10 different opinions the scholars have about this. But there are a couple of things we can come out with as a brief conclusion. The first thing that we can say is that all of our actions are sincere for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in that regard, there is no difference between fasting and prayer and anything else. However, there is something which makes fasting unique. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, except for fasting, that is for me. And some of the scholars, one of the stronger opinions about this is to say that the reason that fasting is unique is because everything else has the potential for showing off. You could show off in your prayer, you could show off in the other actions, your charity that you give. But because fasting is something that only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows whether you're fulfilling or not, the potential of showing off in it is much less. And that is one of the reasons why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said all of the actions of the children of Adam belong to them except for fasting, which is for me. The second thing is the love that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has for fasting and the people who fast. And the fact that it is a special kind of love that Allah Azza wa Jal doesn't have for any of the other deeds. وَأَنَا أَجْزِي بِهِ, and I am the one who gives a reward for it. And again, the scholars differed about this and had a lot of different opinions. But among the strongest things we can say about this sentence is to say that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rewards all of the good deeds. However, their reward is something which is known and which is measurable. Al-hasanatu bi'ashri amthaliha. A good deed comes with 10 that are similar to it, 10 that are 10 like it. However, fasting is something which Allah Azza wa Jal has not given a specific number to, because of the huge reward that fasting has and the massive reward and good that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give the person that fasts beyond what exists in some of the other good deeds, where those good deeds have a limited reward which is known. For example, the recitation of the Quran, with every letter is 10 rewards. Alif, Lam, Mim is not a letter, but Alif is a letter, and Lam is a letter, and Mim is a letter. As for fasting, the reward is unrestricted and completely in the hands of Allah Azza wa Jal. He will give whatever He wishes to whomsoever He wishes from the people who fast. So that's the first part of the hadith. Continuing on, the Prophet ﷺ narrated that Allah Azza wa Jal said, وَالصِّيَامُ جُنَّةٌ فَإِذَا كَانَ يَوْمُ صَوْمِ أَحَدِكُمْ فَلَا يَرْفُثُ يومئذ ولا يسخب. The Prophet ﷺ narrated that Allah Azza wa Jal said in the next part of the hadith, fasting is a shield. So if it is a day when one of you is fasting, let him not use obscene language on that day and let him not raise his voice. Fasting is a shield. It is a shield from all kinds of haram. Every kind of haram, all kinds of haram. Fasting is a shield from that haram and a protection from that haram. But there's no doubt that fasting particularly, we are encouraged to have the etiquettes of the person who fasts. And one of those etiquettes is that we don't just fast from the things which break the fast, from food and drink and intimacy and the other things which break the fast, but instead we fast from those things which reduce the reward of the fast as well, like getting angry with people and fighting with people and obscene language and raising the voice in anger and shouting and screaming at people. All of these things are things which don't invalidate the fast, but they reduce the reward of the fast. And fasting is a shield from all of the haram, from all of the elements of the haram, and therefore we avoid these things. But what do we do if somebody behaves in that way towards us? As in the next part of the hadith which Allah Azza wa Jal said, فَإِنْ سَابَّهُ أَحَدٌ أَوْ قَاتَلَ فَلْيَقُلْ إِنِّي امْرُؤٌ صَائِمٌ. If anyone curses him or tries to fight with him, then he responds by saying, I am a fasting person. Today I'm fasting. I'm fasting from everything which makes Allah Azza wa Jal angry, everything which decreases the reward of the fast, because the essence of fasting in Arabic is al-imsak, to refrain from something. So yes, we refrain from the food and the drink and the things which break the fast, but we also refrain from those things which are within the haram, and the aim is to refrain from them permanently, not just in the daytime in Ramadan, but to train ourselves to be of an even higher standard of character that we would have or than we would have at other times. So at other times, maybe if somebody swore at us or somebody pushed us or fought with us, we might say to that person that, or we might respond with something. We might, if they pushed us, we might push them back. But when we are fasting, we're aiming for a higher standard of character. So we say, Inni imru'un sa'im. I'm a fasting person. I'm a fasting person. And for a lady, Inni imra'atun sa'imah. I'm a fasting lady. So fasting man or fasting woman. They say, I'm a fasting person. And then the hadith continues. وَالَّذِي نَفْسِ مُحَمَّدٍ بِيَدِهِ لَخُلُوفُ فَمِ الصَّائِمِ أَطْيَبُ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ مِنْ رِيحِ الْمِسْكِ. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said that by the one whose hand Muhammad's soul is in, the smell that comes out of the mouth of the fasting person is more beautiful, it's more tayyib, it's more good, it's better in the sight of Allah on the day of judgment than the smell of musk. And the scholars say about this smell doesn't come from the mouth. That's why you're allowed to use the siwak when you're fasting, because you're not removing this smell. It doesn't come from your mouth. It comes from the stomach. It comes from not eating in the stomach, and it produces a smell. And that smell is a smell of obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So on the day of judgment, it will be more beloved to Allah than the smell of musk. And then the end of the hadith, وَلِلصَّائِمِ فَرْحَتَانِ يَفْرَحَهُمَا. And at the end of the hadith, وَلِلصَّائِمِ فَرْحَتَانِ يَفْرَحُهُمَا إِذَا أَفْطَرَ فَرِحَ بِفِطْرِهِ وَإِذَا لَقِيَ رَبَّهُ فَرِحَ بِصَوْمِهِ. And the fasting person has two moments of happiness that he will experience. When he breaks his fast, he will be happy at the feeling of breaking his fast. Because when we break our fast, we feel really happy, right? We feel really excited that we ate, and we feel, all the headache went away and the stomach pain went away. We feel good. And when he meets his Lord, he will be happy at his fasting. SubhanAllah, in the dunya, we are happy to break the fast. And it's a happiness, a permissible happiness for us. And when we meet Allah Azza wa Jal, Yawm al-Qiyamah, what will make us happy is not the breaking of the fast, but the fact that we fasted for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with that huge reward that the fasting contains. And so this is the explanation of the hadith. And Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.